So a good way to make sweep picking practice a bit more enjoyable is to actually use some sort of chord progression, or at least chord change. So what I did here in the beginning was just going between an A minor chord into a D major chord. And this is kind of a chord change you would hear a lot in film scores, especially if it's like an adventure type movie. So technically this is from you can view this as part of the Dorian mode, but we don't need to get into that right now. But basically it's just an A minor chord into a D major chord with good voice leading. And you might be like, wow, what's good voice leading? Good voice leading is when the voices, i.e. the notes of the chord, move to the next chord and its notes in the closest way possible. So for example, if I play this arpeggio, the A minor, I could also go down here and play the D major. But that would be kind of dodgy voice leading. Might still sound cool, but it doesn't sound as smooth as, because we have a common note here, the A at the top. So another thing when you practice this stuff is try to go for very solid notes, right? So a lot of time when you hear people do sweep picking, even if it's clean, it's kind of more of a blur. But you know, hopefully if I slow this down, the notes would be there. But just try doing it in a more of a 16 note feel instead, or just regular triplets. You would go, try to make each note really full and strong. That's also what's going to help you to get it up to a faster tempo if you want that. If you've always wanted to learn sweep picking or simply clean up your existing sweep technique, join us in the Practice Room Pro for this month, where we're going to have a sweep picking deep dive, where I'm going to share the best techniques that I know in regards to cleaning up your sweep picking and getting it right from the beginning. So this would have saved me so much time if I had this when I started out. So if you're interested in sweep picking at all, join us in the Practice Room Pro. Try these tips with any other shape that you want to learn. So for example, you could try, maybe just do a 3-string sweep here. So we go, right, so, but slower, like I said before, so. And you can even try different notes that's included in the scale. So if we think of this as a Dorian scale, right? So just added notes, right? So, and you don't even necessarily need to know what you're doing here. I think it's good to learn what you're doing, but I also think it's good just to experiment and try things and see if you like the sound. And if you like the sound, then you might be like, huh, why does this note make me feel a particular way, right? So then you can figure out like, okay, so it's an F sharp and I'm in A. So it's a natural 6, but I'm in a minor scale. So, oh, okay, maybe you go online asking ChatGPT or whatever, and then you'll see that, oh, this is part of an A Dorian scale, which is different from the A minor scale, that you have a major 6 instead of a flat 6, right? Because if you have the flat 6, I really like that sound, but then this chord will sound a bit out of place because this is part of the top of that chord, right? So then we go more into a D minor, so. Right, so that sounds cool too. Anyway, just think about these things and see what you can come up with. So basically just find any chord progression that you like, and it doesn't have to be a chord progression initially. It can just be going between two chords, and I think you will have a lot more fun doing that than just moving things up and down chromatically or just sitting on one chord the whole time. But that's also a great practice, so don't knock that. But I think this could be something that can open up a few doors for some of you out there.